All right, so this is a little tour of the house. I moved in here 9 years ago, and when I did, every room was kind of dark and paneled. This is the paneling that was in these two rooms, which, if you've seen my channel, you'll have seen. So it was on all the walls in this room and the room next door. And the kitchen had a roof that was just a hot mess. And this wall, all along this side, was paneled, just like it is in the entry part of the kitchen. So over the years, we have done various things. The floors had some really terrible tile on them that was really not even safe tile. So when I moved in here, I was injured and at my lowest. I had no job. I was renting a room from someone here who was not doing anything to really maintain the house or anything like that, and had other issues. Well, that person ended up being asked to leave by the landlord, and then I took on the place myself. And so the first thing that happened is we had some water damage because of the way the stack used to be outside the wall. So every winter it would freeze up and you could have the water come out of the toilet upstairs. And while I was at work one day, that's exactly what happened. So the landlord came in, they redid the kitchen, and that was this first step, and got a new floor, and that was really helpful. There was cabinet reworking. This shelf unit was a cabinet. You may have seen that in my early videos. That fell. It fell off the wall. So I had these shelves put in instead. At any rate, so I went through in this paneled room and filled every crack in the paneling and gave it a new ceiling paint and new color and finish, because I really needed one space in the house that was clear white or near white, and that I could feel joy in, because there were such difficult areas throughout the house. Later, after all the sick animals passed on and I felt safe to do it, I took up the carpets I had laid down over what was not a very nice tile, and the landlord put down this floor, which is much easier for me to maintain and clean. So that helped a lot. When I redid the office, I also redid the walls in this room. In this room, because there's a large feature wall over here that takes up this whole part of the room, I decided to not fill the cracks, and to leave the actual joins of the panels exposed, so that it would sort of give it a forest tree, like a deconstructed forest look, you know what I'm saying? So just to give it that linear brown look of a stand of trees. And this year was the first year that I got it organized for the plants in a way that really works. So I got a little TV set up there, and just a nice corner lamp with some artwork in there. Artwork from my favorite artists I've collected over the years. And I was finally able to figure out to use this little table I had in the craft room at half stand for the plants, to give them the best light. So this room gets the best light for the plants. So then when you came in, the entryway was extremely dark, and the stairs were brutally dark. especially after the sort of dirty sandy carpet came off and they were just unpainted dark wood. So I had already done an upstairs renovation to that railing because it also was just a terrible color. Actually, it was this color. And it was just gross. So I repainted it to brighten it up. Everything was always about brightening up without doing any real repair. Just, what I could do with paint and time, which was about all I could afford. But that worked brilliantly. So I did white for the risers and the nice cedar stain that matches the porch out front on the stairs themselves. But this room had been a catch-all, dingy, dark. It was supposed to be my craft room, a place where I could imagine and work and have access to the things I'd collected over the years for my craft. So this little farmhouse has limited closet space to work with. I had all my life is in that cabinet. So when I repainted this time, I left the corner. This is a different paneling than was in the other two rooms, and I didn't want to lose it entirely because I want to know and be able to see what was here. So the natural thing to do was to leave it behind the stuff I didn't want to try to move. That's too heavy for me to shift. So, and I think that worked out well. It looks really nice behind the books. And then I was able to move my hall stand. This is a family heirloom. It's been following me around all my life that I inherited when my mom passed away. And it's the perfect location for it. And that's one of her knitted hats. So this just really let me finally get the space here. I have never, in all the years I've been in this house, I've not had this vista where I could sit and see my driveway and the front and the lights and also the garden and the yard in a peaceful location. So this has really, it changed my day already. I spent a lot of time here today just rocking and looking at the world because in the winter I missed being out there on the porch and I didn't really have any place I could get the vistas. So this was an old system I came up with, but it works really well. Keep my fabrics from being covered in dust. So I have them hanging on bungee cords from the shelves and then some stuff stored below. And then I hang the ironing board over there. And yet I can pop it all behind a cover. So this is my dressmaker's dummy. And I'm just storing a cape that doesn't really hang. This hat was something that my mom knitted, I think, with help from my Aunt Lois, maybe on the flower, or maybe Lois made that hat. Yeah, so, and somebody made this gorgeous knitted and beaded scarf as well. I think that was someone in the family, maybe. Anyway. So then I have here my little sewing station. I have an extra sewing machine down below, but that's the machine that I use in the main. And then places for my big quilting hoops. And then this, I love this little station. So I know it looks crowded, but this really contains all the stuff that there's no closet space for, and odds and ends and various craft supplies all tucked away in there. Along with giving me a place to hang all these various purses. I don't know if I'll ever use, but sometimes. And then my round basket for those things that don't, do a shelf well. And then I was able to turn this around by putting a little shelf up there with hooks. I can hang little project things there as I need to. And this I just adore. This doesn't look like much, I know, but this is my workhorse. Opens up, drops down, and that is my tool case. And when I open up this drawer, you can see there's like drawers in there for all kinds of things. So, and I love the way that just folds up. Someone made this, and I bought it at a local Hokey G's, really, I think his place is called. And as soon as I saw it, I knew I couldn't leave without it. It's just the most beautiful piece of workmanship for a craftsman, for his tool case, and I love it. And then this my printer that's hooked up by wireless, so I can print stuff out here. And I keep the paper in the big cabinet. This is the drawer. You know, you have a drawer, that one drawer that's full of stuff. This is the case of drawers full of stuff. But essentially the top one's sewing stuff. And the next one is tools and bits and bobs and all the tape and all the stuff. Bird feeders and sandpaper and stuff in the other drawer. So anyway, this has altered my life because I now want to be in this space. I enjoy this space. I can work in this space and get things done. So I found this little cabinet years ago as well, and it was absolutely lost in here because it's not straight-sided. It needs to stand alone. And so I've been able to find it now, a little home for just that. And this is full of sewing things. It is a sewing stand, just crammed full of all the craft supplies. And now that I can manage it, the floor is manageable. It's got a manageable carpet. It's not supposed to look great because it's a craft room. It's going to get messed up. But it's got a nice short nap, and it's easy to vacuum up. You know, it is what it is. So it does the job. It's fit for purpose, I would say. That's what I would call it. And I just really, really love it. Really love it. So, and it's changing my self-care because I am now finally in a position to have a good mental health, strong mental health, and an organized home where everything has a place. And as long as it's in its place, we're all pretty good. So can't bring any more stuff in, you know, so it controls the clutter. And this is my unique little solution because I needed somewhere. I have limited cabinet storage space, and I use these size mugs when I'm feeding my sourdough, and I had to reach way back up in the back of the cabinet up there to get it. It was just a pain. So when I redid the bathroom, I ended up with this rail that I didn't need up there. It was behind the dresser. And so I moved it down here. And then it also lets me get to things that won't fit in the drawers easily, but I need when I'm baking, like the the measuring stuff. So I'm just delighted with how it all worked out. It's given me a much cleaner, organized space, easy for me to keep clean, and I'm hoping because of that I can really get shifted into project mode for the winter, which is going to involve cutting a whole lot of diamonds. Anyway, that's the tour of my little comfy zone, a little life zone. I recommend you make your own, just as lovely as you can.